Welcome back. When we last left, we had created a bank account object, right? Sorry, bank account class, and in there we had created variables to hold first name, last name, and the account balance. We'd also created a constructor for first name, last name, and to set the balance. We created a deposit method that allows us to deposit an amount of money as long as that's greater than 0. And we've also created a method that allows us to get the balance. So in our testing class, what we did is we created 2 accounts. One's called account 1, one's called account 2, with Fred Flintstone and myself. And what we did is we deposited some money. We printed the balances and then we deposited some money, and then we're going to look at the bank accounts again. So let's run that method for us. And what we see here, it's not very nicely formatted. Let me just add a line return. Okay. Actually, maybe even 2 would make this easier to read. Okay. So here's our initial balances, right? 1,500 and 4,000. And then when we added the deposit to account number 1, see how we're referring to account 1 here on line 21, and we're saying deposit money. That puts it only into account number 1. So it treats them as 2 separate entities. And right now we don't have any ability to see who belongs to these accounts. So let's create a method. This method will return the first and last name of the account holder. Right? Oops. And I'm going to say @return. So whenever, if you want to create Java docs, there's some keywords here, but I'm going to say the return here is going to be a string that holds the account holder's first and last name. So it'll be a public method, and we're going to return a type string. I'm going to call it toString. And we're going to say return first name. We'll put in a space. Last name. That's all our method will do. Is it's going to look at the first name and last name, and it's going to magically return those. So let's go to our account testing area here, and say system.out print. And you see when I start looking at the toString method, oops, account 1 toString, and see how it says this method will return the first and last name of the account holder. So that's our exact comment. So by following the format for our comments, we're actually increasing our ability to reuse our code, because now anyone who's programming doesn't have to look through our code. They can just see exactly what this returns. In this case, it's a string that holds the account holder's first and last name. So that's what we want. And let's copy this. This time we'll make it for account number 2. If we run this, we'll see, even though I changed my print statement, I did not change the account we're referring to. Run that again. So you see here, again, it's able to represent account 1 and account 2 separately, right? One's owned by Jared Wright, one's owned by Fred Flintstone. So what happens if we want to create a withdraw method? So let's go back to our bank account here. That's a common thing that you like to do with a bank account, is get some money out. This method will check to see if there is enough money in the account. So in this case, it's a public method. I'm not going to return anything, so it's going to be a void, and I'm just going to call it withdraw, and it'll have to be some amount of money, right? So withdraw amount. So in this case, we need to check if the amount of money we want to take out of the account is greater than the account balance, right? So our account balance can always be found right up here in that variable. So let's see here. We need to check. So if account balance, if it is less than the withdraw amount, obviously we don't have enough money. So we're going to say system.out.print. Sorry, you do not have enough funds in the account. Otherwise they do, so we're going to say account balance minus equals withdraw amount. So when you write minus equals, it's the same as writing equals account balance minus withdraw amount. It's just a little shorthand. So I could write it like this as well. Okay, those line 68 and line 69 mean the same thing. One's just a little shorter than the other. Okay, let's test this now. Over to our testing thing. And we're going to say account 1, that's my account. So now see deposit, where's our withdraw? So when I click on withdraw, it says this method will check to see if there's enough money and withdraw. Okay, so that's what we want, and I'm going to withdraw $10,000. Let's try running that. And it says, sorry, you do not have enough funds in the account. Put a little new line there. Another one at the other side. And then we'll do it again, this time with only $500. And we'll get the balance again. System.out.println after withdraw cash from. Okay, so let's run that. So when we tried to do the $10,000 withdraw, it wouldn't let us. And then afterwards, we see we went from 4,575 down to 4,075. So we withdrew the $500. I hope that gives you a better understanding of how we can create objects, how we can create methods within objects, and how we can use those methods within objects. I look forward to seeing you in class.